So today we're doing topic 2, lesson 1, and it's the slope-intercept form. This is my very most favorite form of linear equations. Yes, I have a favorite form for equations. But okay, your homework will be posted on Schoology. You will need topic 2 packet today. So that was part of this. That's the same packet where we did the beginning, the pre-topic 2. So have that out. We'll be referring to that also, just for some extra problems. Your notes in your book start on page 31. And let's look there right now. So Lonnie wants to buy a $300 bicycle. She's considering two payment options. The image shows option A, which consists of making an initial payment, then smaller equal-sized weekly payments. Option B consists of 6 equal payments over 6 weeks. Okay? So, what I'd like you to do right now is pause your video, read through this, and see if you have some ideas on how that would look like and what she needs to take into consideration. Go. So we have option A and we have B. Okay, so factors that Alani could take into consideration. These are just your opinion, a lot of things. So one, does she have the money to make it the down payment? And which one is cheaper? And so you might compare. This one has a down payment. And then you're going to have how many equal payments until then? So she would have 5 equal payments. We don't know what that payment would be. Whereas plan B should have 6 equal payments. So it just depends on what money she has available, but that's what we'd be looking at. Suppose Alani could modify A and still pay off the bike in 5 weeks. Describe the relationship between the down payment and the payments that she'd have to make. Okay, so think about that one too for just a second. I don't know what that is. Okay, so if she wants to just pay off the bike in 5 days, in 5 weeks, sorry, if she just wants to pay it off in weeks, then she'd have to alter the down payment too, maybe, or maybe she doesn't make a down payment, so then this would increase. So each payment would increase if she doesn't pay a down payment. So you could say lots of different things there, but it does. This one and this one, they affect each other. They both are dependent on what the other one is doing. Good. Let's go to the next page. So you'll remember what I said the topic is its slope-intercept form. And you might remember that I was talking about this is my favorite form. We will talk about 3 forms in this topic, in this chapter, whatever you want to call it. Slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We use this so much that people, even years later, even if they're not great at math, will remember y equals mx plus b. But what does each of them mean? So let's talk about that. First, we have the letter m. That's what we've been dealing with. The last lesson was slope. Okay? And then we have b. Remember how I talked about in b, not in b, in the session before about intercepts? Well, this is your y-intercept. Okay? And we remember the y-intercept, that always has the point of 0 and then whatever the y-coordinate is. Okay? So it's always going to be that this is on the y-axis. Their y-intercept is always going to be on the y-axis. The slope is going to change. It's going to, because it's change in y over change in x. So even though we don't know where they came up with m and where they came up with b, but we are so very fortunate that people of other languages came up with so much of our math. We owe it to the Egyptians and to the Greeks and the father of algebra, who is from the Middle East. I never can say his last name, but his first name is Muhammad. Thank you, Muhammad, for figuring out algebra and writing it down. We really do appreciate it. So very grateful to all those other countries and people. So I don't know why M and B, but here's the really good news. What's going to happen is that M, okay, that's how much we move. That's not what it stands for. It's not what it stands for. But this is going to be what we move. Move. Okay, and guess what B stands for? Or what? No, it doesn't stand for. But what we're going to use it for is where we begin. Okay, where we begin. That's our B. That's what we're going to be using. Okay, that's our slope-intercept form. So let's look at a problem using that. This one is in your book. We're still on page 32. So what we have to realize is we have to recognize that slope-intercept form. Let's write it down so we get used to it. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so m, what is my slope? Well, what is my slope? What is the coefficient of x? Coefficient of x, so my slope is negative 3/4. What is my y-intercept? Now be very careful here. Your y-intercept is all of this. So my y-intercept, okay, and I should write that down. This is my slope. This is my y-intercept. And we're going to say that negative 5 is our y-intercept. Now, be very careful here. Your y-intercept, that's what b is. But our y-intercept is 0, negative 5. Because your y-intercept is a point, it needs to be written as an ordered pair. Okay, so now we're going to graph this. And so what I want you to do is I want you to start right on this line. Okay, so I want you to make your axis right up here. Humor me. I've planned this. I've actually thought about it. Make your axis right there. So now what we want to do is we want to begin at our y-intercept. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to make that point. Now our slope, remember negative 3/4, and remember when we graphed it? This is going to tell me up and down, and this is going to be left and right. Okay, so here we go. I start at my y-intercept, so that's where I begin. Okay, step 1, plot y-intercept. 2, use slope to get second point. I like 3 points. You'll find out in your homework you can actually get it done in 2 points, but I think 3 points just kind of clarifies. So here we go. Start right here, and we're going to go down 3 because it's a negative 3. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3, but that's not our point because now we have to go to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our next point. Okay? Now, you could keep on going down 3/4, but that doesn't work. So what we can do is we actually take our slope to find our other point. Okay, so use slope to get second point, and then use slope again, sometimes in the reverse, sometimes reversed. Okay, don't flip it. But we go back to our y-intercept, okay? So we go back to our y-intercept right here, and instead of going down 1, 2, 3, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and instead of going to the right, we're going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. We didn't have to make a table. We just draw in our line right here with these 3 points. Isn't that cool? Okay, that's how we graph using slope and y-intercept. If you didn't get all these notes, you might want to pause yours right now and get them all copied. So that we can have some more practice with graphs, get out your Topic 2 packet right now that you got yesterday, and let's graph there. And it says additional practice. This is graph the line. This should be lesson 1. I should have marked that. If I didn't, hopefully I did that on yours. Okay, so here we go. Let's start off. What's our y-intercept? Hopefully you said negative 3. Okay, that's B. Let's do this right. We're going to indicate what is B. B is equal to negative 3, so our y-intercept is 0, negative 3. And what is our slope? Our slope is 1/4. Okay, here we go. Let's begin at negative 3 right here. Okay, now our slope tells us 1/4, so I'm going to go up 1 and 4 to the right. Okay, now this is what I was talking about before, and this graph actually allows for it. I could go up 1 and over 4 again, to get my third point. Or I can go back to my y-intercept, and instead of going up 1, I'm going to go down 1. Instead of going to the right, I'm going to go to the left. Okay, so you can see it doesn't matter what you do for that third point. Look at that. Right here, I got a third point, and right here, I got a third point. So I plot the y-intercept, I use slope once, and then I use it again, or I use it again. You don't need 4 points. And again, like I said on the homework, it's only going to require 2, but I think 3 is better. Okay, so if you're feeling brave, go ahead and pause it. Do this next one. Try this next one on your own. So y-intercept is 0, 3. Slope is 2. Wait, 2. Slope. It's the one time we want a fraction. Okay, so it's the one time slope is when you want a fraction because it tells you up and down, especially if you're graphing. So let's go. We're going to go with 3 on the y-axis. Then I'm going to go up 2 over 1. Now you have to get a third point. So I can either, for this third point, I can either start at this point and go up 2 and over 1 again, or I can go back to my y-intercept and I go down 2 and over 1. Okay, it doesn't matter. And sometimes it just depends on where the points are. It might not fit on your grid. No matter what you do, this is what your line looks like. Okay, hopefully that's making sense. Let's do some more. So, y equals x minus 4. What's our y-intercept? Exactly. Our y-intercept is 0, negative 4. Nice job. What's our slope? Look at that. Think about it. What number do I see right here? And you're going, Phipps, you've really lost it. There is no number there. But what is it? It's 1. Write that as a fraction 1 over 1. Okay? So, go, graph it. Okay, so hopefully you plotted it at negative 4. Oops. Negative 4. You go up 1 and over 1, down 1 and over 1. Bam, we're done. Isn't that the coolest thing? I love this. Okay. Look at number 4. What's your y-intercept? Think about it. Well, what's right here? And you're going, nothing? Exactly. But we don't have nothing in math. A lot of times it's going to be 0. 0 is something, though, so be careful. And, of course, we already talked about it. Our slope is 1. So 1 over 1 is our slope. Okay, go. Is this what your line looked like? Oh, okay, hope that's not. Oh, geez. Okay, sorry about that. Somebody go with a different color. Here we go. This is our line. There we go. Good. And remember, put those arrowheads on. Nice job. Now we get to do something equally as fun. We are going to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. So we have to write it. So what would be best is let's start off by writing down what slope-intercept form is. Ready? Y equals mx plus b. We have to find slope and we have to find y-intercept. No problem, right? Y-intercept, that's where the graph crosses the y-axis, right? Where is that happening? Hopefully you said right here. That is your y-intercept. What is that? 1, 2, negative 2. So our y-intercept is negative 2. So 0, negative 2. So far our equation is y equals, we're going to have an x, and now we're going to fill in our numbers. So b is negative 2. I know that. I'll rewrite it. Don't worry. I know that can be a minus. Just relax. Okay, so now we're going to go with slope. So we're going to go from one point to the other. I'm going to start at this point, and I go up 1, 2. So far a 2. Now I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3. And it's 2/3. Now we should have remembered that if it goes off in this direction, it's going to have a positive slope. But always kind of check yourself. Okay? That's all you have to do. Is identify the y-intercept and the slope. That's fun. Okay, I know you don't want to admit it, but it is. Okay, let's go to the next. I want you to try it. Go to page 34 in your book, number 9. Okay, and I want you to try it. Now I know the points aren't indicated, so I'll help you with that. This is where we have to find whole number points. Here's a whole number point. 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 Go. Find the equation in slope-intercept form. Hopefully you already wrote down y equals mx plus b. We need to do that every time. Go. So we're going to fill in our slope and our y-intercept. What's our y-intercept, people? Oh, it just left. Still getting used to this. Okay, so here's our y-intercept. What is that point? That's a positive 1. So our y-intercept has the point 0, 1. So b is 1. Good, let's find our slope. What point do you want to start at? I'm just going to start at this one. I'm going to go down 2. So I went down 2, and I went to the right 1. So our slope is negative 2. Now this is our slope, and if I'm going to graph it, I want that. But I could just write it as a negative 2. Oh, I forgot on that last one what I was talking about. Right here, sorry, I know I'm flipping back and forth, but you can also write this as y equals 2/3 x minus 2. These are both the correct equation. I'll accept either. You need to check with your teacher and see what they will accept. Good. Okay, so now we're going to understand slope-intercept even more. We're going to use everything we've learned so far and then some. This is cool. Stay with me. Okay, so let's first write down slope-intercept form. That is y equals mx plus b. So we have to find the slope and the y-intercept, right? All they give us is 2 points. What could we do with 2 points? What did we do about a day ago with 2 points? That's right, let's find slope. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find slope. So I'm going to take 4 minus 6, 5 minus negative 1. And remember, it doesn't matter as long as y is on the top. Y is on the top. X is on the bottom. You subtract, and your ordered pairs are lined up vertically. So we get negative 2 over, sorry, I have to change my signs, over 6 gives us a negative 1/3. Let me double check that. So now we have m. We have slope. Good. So that means we have to find the y-intercept. So let's pause for just a second here. We have slope and we have 2 points. And remember, x and y are just the coordinates of a point. Now here they're just generic, but we can use x and y. So we have 2 points. We only need 1. So we're going to take one of these points, it doesn't matter which one, and we're going to plug it in for x and y. Okay? Doesn't really matter. I avoid negative, so I'm going to take 5, 4, but it honestly does not matter. So in place of y, I'm going to put a 4, because that's what y is. Do you see that? There's y is 4, is equal to the slope, negative 1/3, times x plus b. We don't know b. So in place of x, what is x right here? X is 5. Now, this is not nice that we're starting off with fractions, but hey, let's take on the hard ones when we first begin. Then everything else seems easy. So we're just going to solve for b. So we get negative 5/3 plus b. We're going to add 5/3 to both sides. Well, think about 5/3. Isn't that 1 2/3? And aren't we just adding that to 4? So isn't that 5 2/3 is equal to b? Luckily, we don't have to graph this puppy. Man, that's not fun. So our equation is y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 5 2/3. So just FYI, the book has the answer of y equals negative 1/3 x plus 17/3. Yeah, I don't know which one's better. So this, I would accept either, but I want you to see that the book might give you the improper fraction. I totally get that too. Okay, good. Let's try another one. So go to page 34 in your book, and you'll find this problem right here. A line passes through the point negative 1, negative 5, and 2, 4. So first thing, I didn't finish all the steps last time. First, find slope. I'm going to do better. I'm going to write all the steps this time. So, negative 5 minus 4. Oh, you can do this one. Okay, so we found out the slope was negative 3. Actually, step 0 should be right slope-intercept form. Wow. So step 0 should actually be right slope-intercept form. I don't know what's happening there. Okay, so I should have done that first. Y equals mx plus b. Yay, we have the slope. Now we're going to find b. So now what we have to do is we're going to pick a point. It doesn't matter which one. Pick a point. I'm going to always pick the one that has fewer negatives. That's just my preference. So I'm going to pick 2, 4. -1, -5 would do the same thing. So pick whatever you want to. Pick a point and plug in for x and y. Okay, so here we go. Y equals, nope, we're going to plug in y. So we have y is 4 is equal to the slope times the x value, which is 2. Okay, so we plug it in. Step 3, solve for b. So I have 4 is equal to -6 plus b. Add 6 to both sides, we get 10 is equal to b. So our b is 10. Yay! Now just write the equation. Y equals my slope plus my y-intercept. Okay, good, awesome. Given 2 points, these are the steps that you want to follow in order to get the equation in slope-intercept form. Now go back to the go back to the packet. Okay, and this question is on your page 33, but I get so tired of them not giving the whole problem. So here is the example right before. This is the information that we didn't have before. So let's talk about this one, and I put it in your packet so you could actually write down this information. Allie received a gift card for her local coffee shop. Every time she goes to the shop, she gets a medium coffee. The graph shows the gift card balance at 2 points. How can Allie determine the number of medium coffees she can buy with a gift card if she does not know the original value of the card? First, let's just talk about what the order pairs mean. Okay, so look down here. Medium cups of coffee, that's your X value, right? So at 2 cups of coffee, the card was $19.70. Okay, this is the Y value is your card balance. So then this tells you that you have had 4 cups of coffee and that now the balance is, $14.40. Okay, so just so that we know what do these things mean. So if you think about it, we have 2 points. If we have 2 points, can we get an equation in slope-intercept form? Yes, we can. Now, the other thing I want you to recognize is just think logically. Your thing is going to keep on going down and down and down, right? Or if it goes up, we could find our y-intercept. And our y-intercept would be the beginning amount on our card, wouldn't it? Okay? So, why don't we go through and find the equation, which is what they ask us to do on number 4 in your book anyway. So here we go. Let's find, well, what do we do first? If we have 2 points, first thing we do is we write y equals mx plus b so we can refer to it. And what are we going to find? Slope, exactly. So what's our slope? Our m. So let's take our values. I'm going to just take it from top to the bottom. 1970 minus 1440 over, if I chose 19, I have to choose 2 and find that slope. So we found out our slope was -2.65. What does that mean? That's right, her balance goes down every time. Every time it goes down by $2.65. $2.65. That's what it goes down. So what does that mean? That means that's how much a cup of coffee is $2.75. So when we look at this 1970, that's the balance. That's not how much a cup of coffee costs. Okay, that's the gift card balance. So keep that in mind. Okay, we have the slope. What do we have to find now? That's right, we have to find the y-intercept. How do we do it? We plug 2 points in along with our slope. So here we go. Let's plug in this information. So we have y. Oh, which point are we picking? I don't know. I'm going to pick the top one just because I couldn't decide. So y is 1970 is equal to my slope, $2.65, and that's a negative, which makes sense because it's going down, times my x value, which is 2, plus b. So let's solve for b. 1970 is equal to -5.3 plus b, add 5.3 to both sides. So our y-intercept is, oh, I better not add without a calculator just to be sure. $25, which makes sense. So the beginning balance is $25. Let's write the equation. So y equals negative 2.65x plus 25. So now that we have our equation, we can answer the questions. And it says, find the x-intercept. What do we know about the x-intercept? Okay, do you remember from a couple days ago? The x-intercept is going to be where the graph crosses the x-axis, right? Someplace down here. We don't know where. Someplace down here. So someplace down here, it's going to cross that x-axis, and we're going to find that out. But what do we know about the x-intercept? We know that we're going to know the x-intercept, we're going to know the x-coordinate, but then the y-coordinate is 0. So we're going to solve for the x. So the reason that's important is we're going to plug 0 in for y, and then we're going to solve this equation. Okay, pause for a second and think about that. The x-intercept, we're going to know the x-coordinate, but the y-coordinate is always going to be 0. So here we go. Let's plug it in. Y is 0. We don't know x. We're going to have to solve for x. So let's subtract 25 from both sides. Sorry, I'm running out of room, so I'm going to jump over here. Negative 25 is equal to negative 2.65x. Divide by negative 2.65. They're both negative, so it's fine. Okay, now I got a weird decimal, so let's see. Hold on. So did you get that x was equal to 9.43396? Okay, so what does that mean? X means, look at your x, that's the number of cups of coffee. So she can get 9.43396 cups of coffee. Can she get a fraction of a cup of coffee? No. She could get a small, but that's not a medium. We're looking at medium. So what that means is that she can only get 9 cups of coffee with her gift card. After 9 cups, she would have to then spend some of her own money. Okay, so 9 cups. Good. Okay, how does the slope of a line given in slope-intercept form? So we're back in your book. We should be about the same place where we left off. Given in slope-intercept form with a fractional coefficient compared to that with a whole number coefficient. Okay, so just think about it. So if I have a fractional coefficient, okay, coefficient means the number connected by multiplication to a variable. So coefficient, 2/3 is a coefficient of x. It's the number connected by multiplication compared to a whole number. So y is equal to 5x plus b. Okay, how do they compare? Well, it's still going to do the same thing, but what you have to remember is that you're going to have to change a whole number into a fraction. So the only difference is that this one, you know both what's going to happen up and down and left and right. Here, you have to rewrite it as a fraction. Okay, good. So now we're to the essential questions. What information does the slope-intercept form of a line equation reveal about a line? It tells, the equation is going to tell you the y-intercept and the slope. Slope is just a rate of change. So it's telling you how much your line changes. It's telling you where it crosses the y-axis, and how much is it going to change, that rate of change. Okay? Number 2, how are the graphs of y equals 2x plus 1 and y equals negative 2x plus 1 similar? So how are they similar? Well, they both have the same y-intercept. So same y-intercept. How are they different? Okay, the slopes, right? The slopes are opposites. And we get to talk about that in section 4. Error analysis. Oh, I love error analysis. To graph y equals 2/3 x plus 4, Aman plots one point at 0,4 and a second point 2 units right and 3 units up from 2,7. He then draws a line from 0,4 to 2,7. What error did Aman make? So let's look at it one more time. My slope is 2/3. Okay? So he plotted the point 0, 4. That part he did right. So to find the second point, he should go up 2 and right 3. Yes? That's what my slope tells me. Up 2, right 3, because they're both positive. But what did he do? He went 2 units right. So he took the top number to go left and right and the bottom number to go up and down. He then draws the line. What error did Aman make? He went right when he should have gone up and down, and then he took the 3 when he should have gone left and right. Okay, so his error was he reversed what he was supposed to be doing with the slope. Reversed what slope does. Okay. Number 4, when writing the equation of a line in slope-intercept form, how can you determine the value of m in y equals mx plus b if you know the coordinates of 2 points? Find the slope. Okay. Subtract y over subtract b. Over b? What the heck? Over subtract x. So take the 2 points, subtract y over subtract x. So first, let's just draw an axis. And I'm just going to go up towards the top. I'm not sure where it's going to end up. So I'm just going to make an axis like this. Then we're going to plot our y-intercept. What is our y-intercept? That's right. It's -5. So we have the point 0, -5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's our slope? It's 2. And this, remember, slope you want as a fraction, 2 over 1. So I'm going to start at my y-intercept. I'm going to go up 2. So 1, 2, and I'm going to go over 1. Okay? Then I can go down 2 and over 1 to the left. And here's my line. Okay? Good. Try this number 6 on your own. So y-intercept is 0, 2. So I'm just going to draw in an axis here. It doesn't make a big difference as to where it's at because we know we can find the third point lots of different ways. So I'm going to plot the y-intercept. I'm going to go down 3 over 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to go up 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's my line. Good. Now we get to write the line. We get to write the equation of the line. So we have to remember equation of the line, y equals mx plus b. Hopefully you have that down now. Y equals mx plus b. And we have to fill in the slope and the y-intercept. So here's our y-intercept. That's easy. Now we have to find whole number points. Bam! There it is. So here's my y-intercept and then my slope. Okay, so what's my slope? 1, 2, 3. So I went up 3. Hey, what's my slope going to be? Positive or negative? That's right. It's going to be positive because it's going up in this direction. Okay, now I'm going to go over 1, 2. So there's my slope. So y equals, let's fill in, our slope is 3/2. Our y-intercept is -2. Now you might just write the equation 3/2. 3/2. Wow, I'm going too fast. 3/2 x minus 2. Again, it doesn't matter. Okay, find the line that passes through. Try and pause. Try these things on your own before I give the answers. I'll let you decide that, but try and pause first. So I'm going to find the slope because I've already written the equation out. So slope is 1 minus -3 over 3 minus 0. Have 4 over 3, so I get 4/3. Oh, yay. I'm going to pick the one that has 0, -3, because anytime I can pick 0, it's usually helpful. So -3 is equal to slope, because I'm just plugging it in. So I plugged in my y, plug in my slope, my x, and I don't know my b. That's what I'm solving for. So m is 4/3 times my x value, which is 0, plus b. So I get -3 is equal to b. Well, isn't that nice? Always look for a 0. So my equation of my line, y equals 4/3 x minus 3. Yay! So this last problem is not in your book. I just want to talk you through it because it is one that is in your homework. And I just want to point out a couple things. It's not the exact homework one. It's probably change the number thing. Jordan will hike the trail shown at a rate of 6 miles per hour. Okay, at a rate of 6 miles per hour. Then write a linear equation to represent the distance Jordan has to walk after X hours. Okay, so X is hours and Y is going to be the distance. So this is going to be your miles. Okay, that's how your ordered pair would be. This slope gives me the rate, so that is your slope. That's not the problem. Okay, and then what you have to realize is that we want to eventually get to 21 miles. That's our whole goal, is 21 miles. And every hour, we're going to get closer to that goal, so we're going to subtract. So Y is equal to negative 6X plus 21. Okay, do you see that? Because it's going to take this path. This is our total distance. Hopefully that helps. Okay, so now you've watched the entire video. You get to work on homework. Maybe wait until the next day to do that. That's okay because you'll have all of class to work on it. Thanks. Hope this helps.